Harry Edward Styles is an English singer, songwriter, and actor. His musical career began in 2010 as a solo contestant on the British music competition series The X Factor. Following his elimination, he was brought back to join the boy band One Direction, which went on to become one of the best-selling boy groups of all time before going on an indefinite hiatus in 2016. Styles released his self-titled debut solo album through Columbia Records in 2017. It debuted at number 1 in the UK and the US and was one of the world's top 10 best-selling albums of the year, while its lead single, Sign of the Times, topped the UK singles chart. Styles' second album, Fine Line, debuted atop the US Billboard 200 with the biggest ever first-week sales by an English male artist, and was the most recent album to be included in Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time in 2020. Its fourth single, Watermelon Sugar, topped the US Billboard Hot 100. Featuring the chart-topping single As It Was, Styles' third album, Harry's House, was widely acclaimed and broke several records. Styles has received various accolades, including 2 Brit Awards, a Grammy Award, an Ivor Novello Award, and an American Music Award. His film roles include Dunkirk, Don't Worry Darling, and My Policeman. Aside from music and acting, Styles is known for his flamboyant fashion. He is the first man to appear solo on the cover of Vogue. Early life. Harry Edward Styles was born on February 1, 1994 in Redditch, Worcestershire, England, the son of landlady Anne Twist and finance worker Desmond Day Styles. When he was a child, he moved with his parents and older sister, Gemma, to the village of Holmes Chapel in Cheshire. His parents divorced when he was 7 years old, and his mother later remarried business partner John Cox, although they divorced years later. Through her subsequent marriage in 2013 to Robin Twist, who died of cancer in 2017, Styles has an older stepbrother named Mike and a stepsister named Amy. Styles said he had a great childhood and was always supported by his parents. As a child, he sang covers on a karaoke machine he was given by his grandfather, and the first song he recorded was Elvis Presley's The Girl of My Best Friend. Styles attended the Holmes Chapel Comprehensive School, where he was the lead singer for the band White Eskimo, which won a local Battle of the Bands competition. At the age of 16, he worked part-time at the W. Mandeville Bakery in Holmes Chapel. Career 2010-2015, I The X Factor / I and One Direction. None. 2016-2018, I Harry Styles / I and I Dunkirk / I. None. 2019-2021, I Fine Line / I. None. 2022, I Harry's House / I and further acting roles. None. Artistry. Musical style and influences. Styles' music has been described as soft rock, pop, and rock, with elements of folk and Britpop. The musical style on his debut solo album was called a mishmash of Los Angeles-style classic rock and ballads by NME, invoking an intimately emotional 70s soft rock vibe by Rolling Stone, and synthesis influences from the last half-century of rock by Time magazine. It was influenced by the artists he grew up listening to, such as Pink Floyd, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, and Fleetwood Mac, as well as the songwriter of Harry Nilsson. Styles praised Nilsson's lyrics as being honest, and so good, and I think it's because he's never trying to sound clever. His second solo album, Fine Line, was seen by NME to have taken this nostalgic sound and combined it with soaring pop sensibilities. Styles said, I think with music it's so important to evolve, and that extends to clothes and videos and all that stuff. That's why you look back at David Bowie with Ziggy Stardust or the Beatles and their different eras, that fearlessness is super inspiring. While making Fine Line, he said he kept watching a vintage Bowie clip on his phone, which he used as an inspiring pep talk. He has also cited Freddie Mercury, Elvis Presley, and Paul McCartney as influences, while mentioning Shania Twain as his main inspiration both musically and in fashion. His favorite album is Astral Weeks by Northern Irish musician Van Morrison, which he called completely perfect. He also considers Etta James's album At Last to be perfect. Upon listening to Pink Floyd's 1973 album The Dark Side of the Moon as a child, he said he couldn't really get it, but I just remember being like, this is really fucking cool. Joni Mitchell's 1971 album Blue inspired Styles to contact the album's dulcimer instrumentalist, with whom he worked on Fine Line. Stage performances. Styles, as a solo artist, has chosen to tour as a rock artist with a backing band. Styles plays acoustic guitar in addition to providing vocals. Lead guitarist Mitch Rowland and his partner, the drummer and vocalist Sarah Jones, have toured with Styles both during Harry Styles' Live on Tour and Love on Tour. Other members of his band have included the bassist/vocalist Ellen Sandberg, pianist Niji Adalai, percussionist and musical director Polly Lovejoy, multi-instrumentalist/vocalist New York O, bassist Adam Prendergast, pianist Jafra, keyboardist/vocalist Claire Uchima, and guitarist/keyboardist/vocalist Charlotte Clark. Jade Yamazaki Stewart from the Seattle Times said of the band, "Felt more like a 1970s rock festival than a 21st century arena show from an international pop star." Styles has been seen by critics to be an unusually energetic performer since at least 2015. In a 2015 Rolling Stone review of One Direction's concert at MetLife Stadium, Rob Sheffield said, "It's like watching the footage of Secretariat running the Belmont Stakes in 1973. He's 31 lengths ahead of the other horses, but he speeds up madly for the final stretch because he's so in love with being fast." Styles does not party or ingest substances after his shows because he tries to approach performing like an athlete in order to give fans the best show possible. Craig McLean described his onstage physicality for The Face in 2022 as stomping, head-banging exuberance that is impossible to resist. His stage presence has been likened to that of Freddie Mercury and Mick Jagger, while his charisma and playfulness prompted comparisons to Rod Stewart. Public image. Fashion. Styles wore skinny jeans, sheer blouses, floral prints, flamboyant suits, and ankle boots while in One Direction. Nicole Saunders of Billboard noted that his fashion had blossomed from a teen wearing purple Jack Wills hoodies to a carefully executed blend of 70s rock with a glamorous magpie feel over the course of the group's 5-year stint. Regarding Styles' time in One Direction, AllMusic writer Tim Sendra opined that his charming persona and elastic vocals had him positioned as the Timberlake of the group. Entertainment Weekly's Leah Greenblatt described him as a dimpled, rakish prankster happy to wear the mantle of class clown. During the band's 2014 Four era, Styles began collaborating with stylist Harry Lambert. In 2016, he was featured in Another Man magazine, after which Ann T. Donahue of The Guardian labeled him an heartthrob who offers something other than token shirtlessness and telegraphs an allegiance to the niche worlds of art and fashion rather than aiming for mainstream notoriety. Billboard's Chris Payne opined that Styles' vibe has always screamed rock star. As a solo artist, Styles has opted for candy floss custom pink suits, sequined tops, printed satin flares and a Gucci heavy aesthetic. Vanity Fair's Erica Harwood stated that Styles went from boybander to luxury suit connoisseur in describing his change in style. His style was noted as flamboyant, fashion-forward, and fun. Citing his use of the color pink, Styles quoted English musician and The Clash's bassist Paul Simonon in a Rolling Stone interview, "Pink is the only true rock and roll color. Ann Powers of NPR wrote that his fashion recalls the Spice Girls' theatrical parade through pop's sartorial heritage and that he comforts with fashion's way of telling stories through artful accessories. Styles began wearing sweater vests, baggy high-waisted pants and pearl necklaces in 2019, which prompted Jacob Gallagher of the Wall Street Journal to call him the popularizer of the manly pearl necklace. Tom Lamont of The Guardian noted that some of Styles' fashion choices have contributed to an important political discussion about gendered fashion. In 2020, Styles became the first man to appear solo on the cover of Vogue, for its December issue. Right-wing commentators criticized him for wearing a blue Gucci dress on the cover. Candace Owens demanded that society must bring back manly men, and Ben Shapiro of the Daily Wire called the cover a referendum on masculinity for men to don fluffy dresses. Styles responded to the criticism by saying, "To not wear because it's females' clothing, you shut out a whole world of great clothes, and that what's exciting about right now is you can wear what you like as lines are becoming more and more blurred." The decision to wear a dress, combined with his refusal to label his sexuality, have opened him up to accusations of queerbaiting. In 2022, the Gucci dress he wore on the cover of the magazine was incorporated into a V&A museum exhibit called Fashioning Masculinities, The Art of Menswear. Several of Styles' other outfits have been displayed in museums, including a blue velvet suit in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and a leather suit in the Grammy Museum at LA Live. Styles frequently spotlights the work of small designers. During lockdown, a J.W. Anderson cardigan that Styles wore in a 2020 rehearsal for Today went viral on TikTok as Anderson provided the pattern for free online. The V&A Museum acquired the cardigan in November 2020, calling the viral craze a cultural phenomenon that speaks to the power of creativity and social media in bringing people together in times of extreme adversity. Having won the British Style Award at the 2013 Fashion Awards, Styles placed fourth on British GQ's 2018 list of 50 best-dressed men, in which fashion designer Michael Kors deemed him the modern embodiment of British rocker style, edgy, flamboyant, and worn with unapologetic swagger. In 2020, he was voted GQ's Most Stylish Man of the Year. Styles was also ranked first and fifth on British Vogue's The 50 Fittest Boys list in 2016 and 2017, respectively, and was voted the sexiest male in pop for 3 consecutive years between 2016 and 2018 in a poll by British radio network Capital. In 2020 he was named the most influential man in fashion. Impact. Styles has been referred to as a pop icon and a fashion icon. He's considered among the most successful solo artists to have emerged from a band. Ben Beaumont Thomas of The Guardian wrote that he is a star who has negotiated one of the most difficult transitions in music from boy band to solo artist with more panache than even successful forebears such as Justin Timberlake and Robbie Williams. Singer-songwriter Stevie Nicks likened his album Fine Line to Fleetwood Mac's album Rumors and commented that she was inspired by him to write new music and poetry. Forbes noted that with his third album Harry's House, Styles racked up a first-week vinyl sales count larger than anything any musician has managed before. Styles has inspired his fans to dress up for his concerts, leading fashionista to call the shows his fans' Met Gala. Outfits often include sequins, pink cowboy hats and feather boas and have been featured in Vogue, The New York Times, ID and The New Yorker. Novels inspired by Styles include After We Collided, After We Fell, Grace and the Fever, and The Idea of You. Anne Hathaway is set to star in an upcoming film adaptation of The Idea of You. Since One Direction's early years, a group of shipping conspiracy theorist fans, often called Larrys, has been dedicated to proving that Styles and Louis Tomlinson, name blended as Larry Stillinson, are secretly a couple that has been closeted by a homophobic music industry. Academics Claire Southerton and Hannah McKin connect the fan group to phenomena like queer reading and slash fiction. In 2016, the ship was labeled as one of the largest elements of the One Direction fandom, which itself is one of the largest fandoms on the internet. The theory, mainly proliferated on social media, has led to online bullying and harassment of Styles' and Tomlinson's friends, family, and girlfriends. It was announced that in 2023 Texas State University will be offering a course on Styles called Harry Styles and the Cult of Celebrity, Identity, the Internet, and European Pop Culture. In 2022, Rolling Stone UK named Styles the new King of Pop, which drew criticism from Michael Jackson's fans and family members. Personal life. Styles splits his time between two homes in North London, having previously lived above the Sunset Strip in Los Angeles. He sold his Los Angeles residence, having become disillusioned with the city. He also owns a loft apartment in Manhattan. He lived in the attic of producer Ben Winston's home in Hampstead Heath, London, for 20 months at the beginning of his career while he looked for his own house. Styles believes in karma, and when Chelsea Handler asked if he believes in God, he stated that he considered himself to be more spiritual than religious and that it is naive to say nothing exists and there's nothing above us or more powerful than us. In a 2020 interview with Vogue, Styles shared that he practices Pilates, meditates daily and that he had been adhering to a pescatarian diet for 3 years. He also attends therapy regularly. From November 2011 to January 2012, 17-year-old Styles dated television presenter Caroline Flack. Their relationship stirred controversy, as she was 14 years his senior. He briefly dated American singer-songwriter Taylor Swift later in 2012. Leading to fan and media speculation about them writing songs about each other after their breakup. From 2017 to 2018, Styles was in a relationship with French-American model Camille Rowe, who inspired his 2019 album Fine Line. Since January 2021, Styles has been in a relationship with actress and director Olivia Wilde. Rolling Stone said in 2022 that if Styles is already held up to a high standard, his potential partners are held to an unreachable one for some of his fans. In May 2019, Styles was named second on the Sunday Times Rich list of musicians in the UK under 30, with an estimated net worth of £58 million, having previously featured third on the previous year's list with an estimated net worth of £50 million. He maintained his second-place position on the list in 2020 and 2021, with estimated net worths of £63 million and £75 million, respectively. He topped the list in 2022, becoming the richest musician under 30 in the UK, with his net worth being estimated at £100 million. Sexuality. Styles has been repeatedly asked about his sexual orientation in interviews since he was 19 years old. When asked in a 2013 interview with British GQ whether he was bisexual, he replied, "Bisexual? Me? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I'm not." In 2017, when asked if he labeled his sexuality, he said, "No. I've never felt the need to really. I don't feel like it's something I've ever felt like I have to explain about myself." When The Guardian in 2019 questioned the authenticity of his flamboyant dressing style and his perceived sexual ambiguity, he stated, "Am I sprinkling in nuggets of sexual ambiguity to try and be more interesting? No. In terms of how I wanna dress, and what the album sleeve's gonna be, I tend to make decisions in terms of collaborators I want to work with. I want things to look a certain way. Not because it makes me look gay, or it makes me look straight, or it makes me look bisexual, but because I think it looks cool. And more than that, I dunno, I just think sexuality's something that's fun. Honestly, I can't say I've given it any more thought than that." In a 2022 interview with Better Homes and Gardens, Styles stated that the expectation that he should publicly label his sexual orientation is outdated. He said, "I've been really open with it with my friends, but that's my personal experience, it's mine, and the whole point of where we should be heading, which is toward accepting everybody and being more open, is that it doesn't matter, and it's about not having to label everything, not having to clarify what boxes you're checking." Philanthropy and advocacy. In 2013, Styles and fellow One Direction member Liam Payne became ambassadors for the cancer charity Trek Stock, raising over $800,000 through the online fundraising platform Prizeo. When the Westboro Baptist Church picketed a One Direction concert in 2013, Styles spoke up on Twitter, responding that he believes in equal rights for everyone. In 2014, Styles joined LGBT rights charity Stonewall's No. 1st SNOG campaign in celebration of their 25th anniversary and showed support for Michael Sam, the first openly gay player drafted by an NFL team, by wearing his jersey on stage during One Direction's concert in St. Louis. Styles regularly waves pride flags thrown on stage by fans at concerts, and he assists fans with coming out publicly during sections of the show where he engages in banter with the audience. LGBT fans have referred to Styles' concerts as a safe space. Some of his lesbian and bisexual fans have called him a lesbian icon. He received a Gay Times honor for LGBTQ advocate. In 2014, Styles endorsed Emma Watson's He for She gender equality campaign. In 2015, he sponsored water wells in India via DROP in support of Life Water's World Water Day campaign. The following year, he donated his hair to the UK charity Little Princess Trust, which supplies and funds wigs made of real hair to children who have hair loss as a result of illnesses. In May 2017, to celebrate the release of his debut album, he played intimate shows at the Garage in London and at the Troubadour in Los Angeles, with all proceeds benefiting charities. That October, he performed at CBS Radio's We Can Survive concert at the Hollywood Bowl for breast cancer awareness. Styles's first tour raised $1.2 million in charity donations from ticket sales, Live Nation's contributions, and Gilson's Pride campaign toward 62 charities around the world, while his second tour raised $1 million for its charity partners Physicians for Reproductive Health, Black Voters Matter and Choose Love, as well as local efforts including aid for food insecure families in need during the holidays. Both tours also promoted water conservation via recycling and reducing plastic water bottle usage. In 2018, his online store sold T-shirts with the slogan "Treat People with Kindness" in a rainbow print for Pride Month, with profits benefiting Gilson. That year, Styles also tweeted in support of the March for Our Lives petition, and added Black Lives Matter and End Gun Violence stickers to his guitar. Styles identifies as a feminist. In December 2019, in response to an interview question about not using his influence more often to support specific causes, Styles stated, "Because of dilution. Because I'd prefer, when I say something, for people to think I mean it. To be honest, I'm still searching for that one thing, you know. Something I can really stand up for, and get behind, and be like, this is my life fight. There's a power to doing the one thing. You want your whole weight behind it." On the impact of events such as Brexit, the Black Lives Matter movement and Donald Trump's presidency on his song Sign of the Times, he said that "We're in a difficult time, and I think we've been in many difficult times before. But we happen to be in a time where things happening around the world are absolutely impossible to ignore. I think it would have been strange to not acknowledge what was going on at all." Styles leans to the political left, and he visited the House of Lords in 2016 to attend a debate on Brexit following an invitation by Labour peer Lord Winston. Regarding Brexit, he stated that anything that brings people together is better than things that pull people apart, and stated that it symbolizes the opposite of the world would like to be in. In light of the murder of George Floyd in May 2020, Styles showed support for Black Lives Matter, urging fans to share and donate in support, and pledged to donate to a bail fund for arrested Black Lives Matter activists. He attended a Los Angeles Black Lives Matter protest the following month. Despite being a British citizen, Styles endorsed Joe Biden in the 2020 United States presidential election. On June 2, 2022, Styles announced he was donating his appearance fee from Apple's AirPods spatial audio campaign to the International Rescue Committee, a global humanitarian aid organization that is responding to the more than 6 million refugees being forced to flee Ukraine. Treat people with kindness. Treat people with kindness, abbreviated to TPWK, is a slogan used by Styles to promote his message of love, acceptance, and kindness to others. Styles began using the slogan during his debut concert tour in 2017 on a badge on his guitar and tour merchandise, including Pride t-shirts sold to raise funds for Coulson. In a December 2019 interview, he stated, "It was a pin I had on my guitar strap and we made t-shirts for it. Then I saw a lot of t-shirts around. I'd be driving or something and see someone in one and I started feeling like, oh, this is a bit of a thing." The initiative gave Styles the idea to write a song titled after the slogan, which serves as the penultimate track on his second studio album, Fine Line. In October 2019, teaser posters including the phrase "Do you know who you are?" and the acronym TPWK were spotted in London, Tokyo, Los Angeles, New York, and Australia. Fans were able to connect the posters to Styles and his new album release because of the reference to his "Treat People with Kindness" motto. At the same time, to mark World Mental Health Day, Styles launched a website bot called Do You Know Who You Are?, that gives users positive randomized messages using words such as bright, determined, loving, and wonderful, and ending with TPWK. Love, H. Discography. Harry Styles. Fine Line. Harry's House. Filmography. Film. Television.